Hello, my name is Chloe Folan, and I've put this video into the support videos for Rainbow Bridge, for the Rainbow Bridge techniques, because a lot of what I'm about to discuss deeply connects with and overlaps with the Rainbow Bridge techniques. In one way, I'm actually overdue for creating this video. I meant to actually create this video and release some information about this, about what I'm about to talk about in January. But due to my very blessed and busy schedule, this is the first opportunity I've had to sit down and discuss this high frequency, very interesting information. But I would like to first of all discuss what has actually been the impulse that's made me finally sit down and create this video. To be very blunt and straightforward about it, the main impulse for this video has been that it's come to my attention that people are incorrectly being told that the Centennial Conclave and the very powerful light code releases connected with the Centennial Conclave are only happening around the June full moon of 2025. And that saddens me greatly that there are certain people out there spreading such narrow-minded information and taking people away from considering the totality of the gorgeous, amazing light code releases connected with the Centennial Conclave. And those light code releases actually started on January the 5th. So I'm creating this video to clear up that bizarre information being spread, that the light code releases are only around one particular date for the Centennial Conclave of 2025. You could rightly debate that the climax of the Centennial Conclave is around the June 2025 full moon. But my goodness, the light code releases connected with the Centennial Conclave have already started. As most people are aware, the light code releases and meetings in heaven, meetings in hierarchy, all overlap. It's very strange to me that people out there would, with very concrete minds, believe that with such a powerful light code release, it's only coming through on one particular date at one particular time. The energies that hierarchy work with and the meetings that high frequency beings in hierarchy have all overlap. The light code releases for the Centennial Conclave of 2025, we only have these conclaves every 100 years. Those meetings have a start, climax, and then of course there's continued energy releases that continue to flow even after a climax time period. Light code releases from hierarchy and meetings in hierarchy, meetings in heaven with very high frequency beings all overlap. Start, middle, end, cyclic process. So that's what this video is about. For those who would like to consider a wider, more expanded point of view for considerations for how to work with these powerful and gorgeous light code releases connected with the Centennial Conclave that started in January. That's what this video is aiming to clear up. So please feel free to get comfortable. You might want to have a notebook and pen. You might even want to save this video because this video is going to be chock full of very clear information that gives a more expanded, wider point of view of the light code releases of 2025 that are all being clothed and impulsed and impacted by the conclave throughout this year. So on that lovely note, let's explore. I'm going to bring up a document, and it's very important to discuss sources. So I first of all want to discuss sources. This has come from the White Ray of Unity introduction talk, and I'll discuss more about the White Ray group coming towards the end of this video. It is a private closed group. To be able to join, you must have completed Rainbow Bridge Phase 1 minimum or Ray Path Healing Phase 1 minimum. It's an intermediate meditation group, so there are prerequisites for joining. Your light body must be activated to a certain point and climatized energetically to a certain point to join this high frequency intermediate group. It is my support group for those who have minimum reached around stage 3 of building the Rainbow Bridge or building the light body. I'll talk more about that in a minute. So White Ray of Unity introduction talk, and this will clear everything up that I'm discussing. So White Ray of Unity introduction talk, sources for information being shared. I would like to extend a special thank you to the souls that gathered for the December the 5th, 2024 White Ray of Unity meditation. The notes below, meaning the notes that are about to be shared, are transmissions that were received and translated by Chloe Folan on behalf of the White Ray group. The information in this introductory talk was transmitted through the forming White Ray group soul. The White Ray of Unity meditation group has an established link and is guided by the Great White Lodge on Sirius. The White Ray Unity group is an international group of conscious initiates who are connected on soul levels through the Rainbow Bridge techniques and similar spiritual meditation and evolution work. And for people watching this video, especially people who do keep a journal of transmissions and ideas that come to them, this is going to interest you. So I encourage everyone, so this would now apply to anyone watching this video, not just people in the private closed White Ray group. I would encourage everyone to observe and reflect on the transmissions you received in the 2-week lead up to the White Ray of Unity group meditation on December the 5th, 2024, and during the White Ray group meditation on December the 5th. So maybe you intuitively picked up on what was happening on December the 5th. Maybe you didn't have a particular language for it or particular reference point for it, but picked up on something and maybe received some light codes that were very interesting. Please go back to your mirror journals and diaries. Please also be aware of the light codes, which are inspirations and ideas that come to you on the 5th of each of the first 6 months of 2025, from January to June inclusive. The only other source for the information shared comes from the book mentioned in this introduction talk document. From the book, Rainbow Bridge Phase 1, Link with the Soul by 2 disciples, and 1 paragraph from Phase 3 document by Norman Stevens, by the late Norman Stevens. So supportive quote, on December the 5th, the master looks over the aspirants or disciples to see who is ready for the initiatory process of the coming 6 sacred months of the year. December reviews the process up to Christmas or the winter solstice. Beginning in January, there is an initiation each month. And so many people don't know about this because certain concrete minds want to bicker and believe. The light code releases for the Centennial Conclave are only happening on 1 date. How outrageous. Anyway, Chloe would like to emphasize that in this context, the word initiation is being used in a general sense. The light code releases usually help to prompt development towards one of the minor initiations that the initiate may be experiencing or working through. Again, please remember, there are minor initiations that lead up to the deeper major initiations. So if anyone, after I've talked through this document is already being circulated. So if you do want a copy of this PDF, please contact me through my website, www.chloefolan.com, and I'll be more than happy to email you a copy of this document. It's being made publicly available, and it's free to pass on and share. All I ask is that copyrights remain on this document, and it's kept intact and kept as is with no modifications, please. So with that in mind, White Ray of Unity group soul transmissions, and I'm now going to discuss why hierarchical meetings and light code releases are all overlapping, and why the light code releases of this year are all being clothed by the impact of the Centennial Conclave of 2025. This will set the record straight on this. So White Ray of Unity group soul transmissions. It is important to remember that the following information applies annually, no matter what year it is. Every year on December the 5th, hierarchy gather to reflect on what light code releases will be imparted to humanity. This collective Light Council review starts on December the 5th and concludes on the astrological winter solstice. Major light code releases are impulsed on the 5th of each of the first 6 months of the year, starting on January the 5th. Minor light code releases are impulsed on the 5th of each of the last 6 months of the year. So to be clear, major light code releases year to year occur on the 5th of January, 5th of February, 5th of March, 5th of April, 5th of May, and 5th of June. The minor light code releases year to year occur on the 5th of July, 5th of August, 5th of September, 5th of October, 5th of November, and 5th of December. And overlapping with that, in addition, light code reviews occur every year starting on December the 5th and continue to the astrological winter solstice. So every year between December the 5th and astrological winter solstice, high frequency light beings, hierarchy, ascended masters gather to review what light codes will be released individually and collectively over the coming year. And for 2025, that review that happened on December the 5th up to the December astrological winter solstice of 2024 last year, that meeting in hierarchy took into account what will be happening with the Centennial Conclave of 2025. So this is what I mean. The light code releases connected with the Centennial Conclave of 2025 have already begun. And it started on January the 5th or around January the 5th. And it's continuing. Again, you can debate that the climax is maybe around the June full moon of 2025, but it's already begun. Start, climax, and the continued wave of what continues to be integrated even after the fact. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that there are such narrow-minded people out there that consider themselves to be esoterists who think that the Centennial Conclave only has one date of impact. How bizarre, anyway. So, coming back to the document, light code transmissions. Light code transmissions are imparted from a higher source, meaning what are light codes? Light code transmissions are imparted from a higher source and consist of inspirations and ideas for service and personal life. Members of hierarchy in heaven do their best to send these high-frequency transmissions to most people via their soul star chakra and 2 soul threads of the Antakarana, the soul to head thread and soul to heart thread, which is more fully developed by stage 2 of building the Rainbow Bridge. So just coming back to the main point I'm trying to make with this information release. So as well as, just to recap on that, so we have the major light code releases that occur during the first 6 months of the year, on the 5th of every month for the first 6 months of the year, and then the minor light code releases. And I've already covered when hierarchy do their reviews year to year, but again, overlapping with all of that, all of those amazing high frequency occurrences, overlapping with all of that, in addition to the yearly cycle of light code releases, hierarchy holds special conclaves in a 100-year cycle on the 25th year of every century. In 2025, the Centennial Conclave releases will overlap with the regular yearly releases, providing a powerful impetus for the evolution of humanity. It's started, it's begun. It is the interval from 2025 to 2075 that will apply most particularly to these light code releases I'm discussing, meaning it started. Oh my goodness, it started. And those codes will continue to ground. And it's that window between 2025 leading up to 2075 that will reveal how well those light codes have been received and grounded individually and collectively. This is the year of expanded information being released. This is the year of new insights being released. And those insights are being impulsed. Those light codes are being impulsed through the light code releases that have already begun. All of the light code releases this year are being clothed by the Centennial Conclave of 2025. It all connects. So, Josephine and Norman Stevens describe this rhythm of light code releases as follows, meaning Josephine and Norman Stevens are the late founders of the rainbow bridge techniques or the soul star clearing techniques. It may be helpful to many students if some explanation of the creative process by which the hierarchy inaugurates new teaching, in this case, the teaching for the new age, is given. The principal contributions to the teachings are made at 50-year intervals. So now I'm talking about another wave of light code releases that happen in 50-year intervals, overlapping with the other window of releases I've already discussed. So the principal contributions to the teachings are made at 50-year intervals, 1875, 1925, and as has been stated, 1975. Since on the mental and higher planes, time as we know it does not exist, we must consider these points in time as being cyclic repetition on the mental plane. Even though the light code releases for 2025 are being called new, they are not really new, just collectively unknown. As part of the review on December the 5th, 2024, hierarchy will reflect on those light codes that were, at least in part, successfully received and grounded, both individually and collectively since the previous conclave in 1925. They will also review those light codes that did not come through and consider the reasons why they did not. If those light codes are still relevant and needed, they will be adapted and re-released starting on January the 5th, 2025. In addition, in 2025, the next steps will be imparted and impressed for those light codes that have been fully or partially anchored since their introduction in 1975. The 50-year cycle is being referenced here. The success of the 2025 transmissions will be revealed by what is manifested through the events of human history in the years between 2025 and 2075. And very importantly, I would like to emphasize that these light code releases apply to your personal life just as much as your service life, both. All areas of life. The light codes are given via white light because white light contains the full spectrum of color and influences everyone collectively, no matter what your ray makeup. However, because a different ray accompanies each monthly release, your particular ray makeup will determine your personal rhythm of response. Isn't that gorgeous? The particular energetic trends of the current Aquarian age will govern the ray influences that accompany each new light code release. I'm now going to summarize those light code releases. 2025 light code releases. So the first wave of light code releases occurred on January the 5th. White light with emphasis on the red ray, the first ray of divine will and power. So even though those light code releases are for all, again, your particular ray makeup has an impact over how much you absorb those light code releases or how you respond to those light code releases. So even though those light code releases were for all, those that have the deeper task of more directly grounding those light code releases, translating those light code releases. So in particular, the first wave of light code releases on January the 5th, white red ray releases. People in incarnation who either have the red ray somewhere in their ray makeup, which is rare at this point in time, or are connected with the path of Earth service, which is the Draco pathway, Draco star seeds, gorgeous Draco star seeds, will be influenced more by the light code releases on January the 5th. This wave will include people who work in politics, government, or government institutions. So that is an outline right there of how the January the 5th white, red light code transmissions impacted the collective and individuals. And I don't even need to go into detail if you're wondering what on earth caused such a huge shakeup in global politics. It was impulsed by the white red ray light code releases coming from hierarchy that started on January the 5th, echoed through the rest of January, and still are impulsing. This month, February, second wave of light code releases. So as the white red ray releases are calming, the next light code release. Second wave of light code releases on February the 5th, white light with emphasis on the indigo ray, the second ray of love wisdom. So these were the white indigo ray releases. People in incarnation who have either the indigo ray somewhere in their ray makeup or are connected to the path of magnetic work, which is the Pleiades pathway. Pleiades star seeds. Pleiades star seeds rise and receive. In particular, this is your month. And or those that have indigo somewhere in their ray makeup. And I'm now going to discuss individual and collective impact of the light code releases that started on February the 5th. This wave will include people who work with their voice, writing, language, transport, traveling, or music as part of their service work, and those involved in new pathways of education. So those are the areas individually and collectively that the white indigo ray light code releases are impacting the most as we speak. This started on February the 5th. It's continuing throughout the month of February. And even when February comes to a close, there's still that settling integration period. But as we come into March, third powerful wave of light code releases. The third wave of light code releases on March the 5th. White light with emphasis on the green ray, the third ray of activity and adaptability. People in incarnation who have the green ray somewhere in their ray makeup, or are connected to the path of training for planetary logi, which is the Betelgeuse pathway, will be more influenced by the light code releases on March the 5th. The Betelgeuse pathway is not common at this time in history, although it was prominent during the early to middle Atlantean cycles. This wave will include people who work in finance, corporate business, the financial sector, in alternative therapy, health, horticulture, and the healing arts, and in legal work or the legal field of service. So, when these powerful light code releases that are deeply influenced by the Centennial Conclave of 2025, when the white-green ray releases, the transmissions start on March the 5th, that will be the individual and collective impact. The light codes being released will expand those areas of service and reveal where continued healing is needed, especially collectively in those fields of service. Fourth wave of light code releases starting on April the 5th. White light with emphasis on the yellow ray, the fourth ray of harmony through conflict. So it will be the white-yellow ray releases. People in incarnation who have the yellow rays somewhere in their ray makeup or are connected to the path to Sirius, which is the Sirius pathway, will be more influenced by these light code releases. This wave will include people who work in the arts in any capacity, and those who are involved in teaching traditional or ancient wisdom paths of education. This wave also includes architecture and building in a more general way, meaning construction. Possibly this wave will also influence how psychology and sociology continue to be understood and applied. Agriculture and farm industries will be influenced by the powerful fourth wave of light code releases as well. Fifth wave. The fifth wave of light code releases on May the 5th. White light with emphasis on the orange ray, the fifth ray of science and knowledge. So starting on May the 5th, the light code releases will be the white-orange ray transmissions. People in incarnation who have the orange ray somewhere in their ray makeup or who are connected to the ray path, which is the pulse star pathway. Pulse star seeds will be more influenced by the light code releases on May the 5th. This wave will influence those who work in the fields of science, study, or research in any capacity. This includes medicine and the medical field in general as well. Sixth wave of light code releases on June the 5th. White light with emphasis on the blue ray, the sixth ray of devotion and idealism. People in incarnation who have the blue ray somewhere in their ray makeup were extremely rare at this time. Those on the path of the solar logos, which is Saturn's pathway, Saturn star seeds, will be more influenced by light code releases on June the 5th. This wave will influence those who work in the service fields of religion, philosophy, or spirituality, and also those who work with electricity in a physical way, internet technicians, electricians, engineers. This wave will also include those who are engaged in humanitarian work of some kind, such as various charities and their connected causes, including volunteer work. Because we are currently in the beginning of the Aquarian age on July the 5th, we will return collectively to being conditioned by the seventh ray, the violet ray, which is connected with the Aquarian age. We will also return to being influenced mainly by our ray makeup and ashramic connections, the light council that you are helping to externalize. from July the 5th to December, so apologies, from July 2025 to December 2025, the work involves anchoring those light codes that you have individually and collectively received during the first 6 months of 2025. And again, the light codes I'm discussing are clothed by the influence of this year's Centennial Conclave. I can't believe there's people out there missing out more consciously on what's happening because people want to get narrow-minded and think there's only one important date connected to the Centennial Conclave. That blows my mind. Anyway, sorry, I can't. Some of the low-grade glamour I come up against sometimes is just, wow, Twilight Zone. Anyway, again, from July 2025 to December 2025, the work involves anchoring those light codes that you have individually and collectively received during the first 6 months of 2025. Light codes always anchor and manifest in testing stages. This work is a co-creative experiment that should be kept light, in accordance with the virtues of the heart, and held with patience. On another level, from July to August, so in particular from July the 5th and over July to August 2025, the seventh ray of ceremonial reordering will begin to influence and reorder both individuals and groups in preparation for the greater Aquarian cooperation among people and for more equal distribution of resources in service work and all other areas of life. This ray will especially influence those very few in incarnation who have a little bit of violet in their ray makeup. It's very rare at this time. And even rarer, those on the path of absolute sonship, the Great Bear Pathway, Great Bear Starseeds. So I do have more to say, but I'm trying to get into the habit of trying to keep my videos shorter. And this is the main information I wanted to get out there today. I will create a second follow-up video to then start publicly discussing deeper individual influence. I've already given a summary of the light code releases and their individual and collective impact in what I've just discussed, but I do have some deeper information to share on considering individual influence that may be of interest to people. But coming back to the main impulse of this video, for those who like to be open to all light windows that hierarchy are opening during this very auspicious year, for those who would like to actively co-create with all incoming light code releases for 2025, and those who've been seeking some better explained information over the light code releases of 2025, I certainly hope this has been interesting for you. I certainly hope this has sparked some inspiration and sparked some deeper insights. If you wish to as well, please do follow me on social media, because each month I'm going to release a little bit of information on the 5th of every month for each of the light code releases, along with an invocation that anyone can say and work with. So in other words, if you've been watching this video and you've been going, oh, Chloe, I'm loving all your suggestions, but is there anything else that I could do generally to link with these light code releases? Please follow me on my social media pages. My website is www.chloefolan.com. Through my website, please click onto my social media pages. In particular, my Instagram account is very popular. And through all of my social media pages, I will be releasing on the 5th of every month a little bit of a summary of the light code releases, and also giving a suggested invocation that anyone can work with if you would like to collectively assist with receiving and grounding those light code transmissions, even if it's a light code release that doesn't more directly impact you. For those who are really connecting with the information that's been shared and found it very helpful, I would also just like to mention that if you would like some deeper insight into your Rainmaker, linked with this information shared, I do offer esoteric aura readings. I'll provide a link below this video where you can click to that section of my website. It's my esoteric aura readings where I go very in depth into your Rainmaker, your light council connections, those you're connected with in hierarchy on angelic, ashramic, ascended master, and starseed connections, very in-depth information, and how all of those beautiful connections translate through you and how you can work with your Rainmaker. So that might interest some people as well. On that note, keeping in rhythm with doing my best to try to keep my videos a bit shorter, I'll just stop the screen share. I certainly hope that this video has helped to circulate a better, wider understanding over the impact of the light code releases of 2025, the 50-year interval releases of new expanded information, and that being overlapped with the Centennial Conclave of 2025. I hope this has been very helpful, very insightful, and again, I hope it's sparked a lot of inspiration for people. If you have any questions, please contact me through my website, www.chloefollen.com. On that note, thank you for listening. It's been a pleasure. 7 ray blessings to all.